Start recording.
Yeah.
Got it? All right, hello, welcome to class. Kevin Hurricane Hudson here. We're going to get started with our lesson. What I'd like to do tonight is, I've had a couple people ask questions about a couple of different stances that we use. Obviously there's a traditional karate stance, such as Zenkutsu-dachi, a forward stance, a Kibe-dachi, horse riding stance, a Kokutsu-dachi. Then there's a Nekoashi-dachi, there's a Fuda-dachi. So there's a lot of different traditional karate stances, okay? And what I'd like to do tonight is explain a couple of those. One of them is a Nekoashi-dachi, because I had one student getting ready for a orange belt and it says Nekoashi-dachi. One of the reasons we use a cat stance is for the blocks and counter part of the test. If somebody attacks you, you get into a cat stance in order to kick easier, okay? Now, what I'd like to do, Steven's going to help me with the camera tonight, and he's going to point it at my feet a little bit to explain some things to you, okay? So, let's discuss first our Zenkutsu-dachi. Our Zenkutsu-dachi is obviously when we come out, we get into a forward stance, we step back with the right leg, we do a down block. So we step back, just like so. Now, if you look at my feet, both of my feet are turned forward. Now, as you advance and get more comfortable with this after several years of training, then we can talk about angling the stance off a little more so that we get step and get more of our hips involved in the technique, okay? But in the beginning, as a beginner, just get both feet forward, straighten that back leg, and bend that front knee where you can't see the toes on the front foot. So this is our forward stance, hips, shoulders, eyes, everything forward, all right? So, Zenkutsu-dachi. Now, if we're in a forward stance and we move to a Kibe-dachi, or horse ride stance, where we're here, and we move our front foot over, now in this position, both of our feet are pointed the same direction. Obviously, when we do this, when we stand stationary, I face you like this and do my stances or my techniques, down, whatever. So I'm facing you here. If I move into line drills, like doing techniques up and down the room, I'll be sideways so that I can, move this way or that, okay? So that's my Kibe-dachi. Now, if we move to a cat stance, let's go to a back stance or a Kokutsu-dachi. When you come out, now move this foot over. Now from here, you're going to have your heels in a straight line, okay? And make sure you get my feet during this, please, Steven, so they can see. Your feet make a 90-degree angle. Back foot pointed that way, front foot straight ahead. Now this is my back stance or Kokutsu-dachi. My hips are sideways because pretty much have to be parallel to my feet this way, okay? Most of you weights on your rear leg, I always say 70%. This hand's on your shoulder blades. This hand's up here in front, so we can do our knife hand block, okay? Which is one of these, just like so. Then we're back in our good stance, okay? So that is our back stance, our Kokutsu-dachi, all right? Now, if we go to our cat stance, a Nekoashi-dachi, or cat stance, basically, let's say we come out, here I am here, back stance. Now, cat stance, I'm going to pull this foot up about 18 inches, 12 to 18 inches from the other leg. My feet still make that 90-degree angle, the front foot straight, back foot toward that wall, okay? Now, your hand positioning, obviously in certain katas or forms, there's a couple of kata, advanced kata, that, you're in your cat stance here, and you move your foot around on the floor. Obviously that wears this back leg out, but this stance for line drill purposes, if I say get into a cat stance or a Nekoashi-dachi, you're here, and your hands are here like so, okay? I have seen other systems that put your hands up like this, which is fine either way, but this is the Shuto stance, okay? Now, so this is our cat stance, or Nekoashi-dachi. Let me show you going this way. So cat stance, your feet are 12 to 18 inches apart. You're on the ball of this foot is flat, your hands are here, okay? One of the reasons we use this is like maybe to do a block and be more agile with the front leg so that we can kick or strike, okay? So we block, kick, maybe block, side kick. So we're in our cat stance here. So this is up here so that we can move this leg quick and kick someone. So when we step back, here, we can kick here, sideways. But we want to make sure that our feet are in a Nekoashi-dachi, which is our cat stance. Now I'm going to ask Steven to come over here and punch at me so I can show you one example of how we would use that cat stance, okay? All right, come over here. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Kevin Hurricane Hudson at gmail.com is a good way to get me. I got a couple other email addresses, but that's the one I'll check on my phone before we get done, and I can answer any questions you have. So if he commanded, get in the 4 cents, please, sir. Now, so what I was saying earlier, if you use this as an attack or a traditional blocking counter, if he steps and does a front punch here, whoop, and I step back and block. See now, look, I have my foot here, I can grab, do my side kick up under his arm, okay? Or my round kick to his head, or front kick to his belly, okay? Try it again. I know, come on, please, sir. I know traditionally, we used to do a lot of blocking counters. Someone would punch, you do one block and one counter, okay? Now, I always tell people, if you're in a bad situation, how many times do you want to hit somebody? Once. So we work on having good control, but doing them really, really powerful, okay? So like for this, here we say, hoops, yeah, I block, right there. Good side kick to the rib area, okay? You could throw it to the knee. Now I know in a street situation, it's very unlikely that you're going to get a guy throwing a straight punch at you. He's not going to do one of these. He's probably going to do one of these. So it's a little different, but we're working from a cat stance. Now you know, we have Zenkutsu-dachi. Yeah, you can go ahead and the camera. We have Zenkutsu-dachi, Kokutsu-dachi, Kiwa-dachi, Nekoashi-dachi. It's cat stance, okay? So if we tell you to show cat stance, you're just going to get one of these positions, just like this. Make sure your feet have a 90-degree angle, okay? And you're on the ball of the front foot, okay? That way you're agile with this leg, all right? Now, what else I'd like to cover tonight is some techniques up and down the room when you're doing your line drill. Some points you need to make sure you're aware of. So for instance, if we do our test for orange belt or green belt or blue belt or whatever belt we're doing, we get in a good stance and we have good solid line drill, good technique, okay? One of the reasons we do our line drill obviously is to develop good hip movement, good power, good focus, good stances, okay? So what I like to do, I'm going to let Steven come on. I'm going to call out some basic fundamental line drills and let him go through them and explain some of the important points as we're going through these things, okay? Come on out here, Steven, please. Sure. All right, we're going to let him just get in the center and face that way to start. What we're going to do, I'm going to make sure I get him on the camera, and we're going to go through some of the basic techniques for you. All right, you all feet together, ready? All right, ready, come on. Good. Now he's in a nice forward stance, and he's going to step forward and do a down block, okay? Remember, your down block has two parts, cross and block. Ready, hitch. Very good. So he's blocking over that knee. All right, ready, knee. Very good. Ready, son. Good. Ready, sheet. Very good, and go. Very good. Now he's going to KT. Now in class, when we turn around, you're always going to move your rear leg, okay? Always going to move the rear leg. All right, ready, KT. Nice, nice. All right, now he's going to step into an outside center block. Outside center block. Let's try it. Ready, H. Knee. Very good. Notice he's coming from under the other arm, from the hip up, blocking the midsection area. All right, let's try it again. Ready, sudden. Good, sheet. Good, go. Very good, KT. Good, and when you KT, you always turn with the rear leg and do a nice down block. Now let's do our inside center block going the other direction. As far as not blocking from inside to out, but blocking from outside to in. Ready, H. Knee. Good, son. Sheet. Go. Very good. All right, do an up block. Ready, H. Good. Now he's going to KT, back leg. Ready, KT. Good job. Let's try our up block again. Ready, H. Knee. Son. Sheet. One more. Good cow. Ready, go. Very good. So we just want to do some of our basic blocks. Make sure you got them. Let's change to a back stance, please. Kokutsu-dachi. Very good. KT. Good. Now he's going to step into his knife hand block. Ready? H. Excellent. Ready? Knee. Good. KT. Very good. All right, let's get in our Kiwa-dachi. Horse riding stance. Knees bent, back straight. Share Mowashi-geri. Ready? H. Good. That was Yoko-geri, side thrust kick. So let's try a round kick. Ready? H. Very good. KT. Let's try it again. Ready? H. Very good. Ready? Sun. Good. KT. All right. Outward elbow strike. We're going to step behind on this. Ready? H. Very good. H. Good. KT. Good. Try it again. Sun. Excellent. And Yame. Pull back. Very good. And bow. All right. Good job. I just want to go over some of the basic stuff. Basic line drills. We're going to switch now. We'll do a couple kicks. All right. Now, the reason I wanted you to see that is because I wanted you to get the feel of moving up and down the room. And if you have trouble, if you need me to help you call out a test, I had one of my students, I recorded me call out a test on an audio file and I emailed it to her. If you need me to do that, I'd be glad to do that for you. Just let me know. I've done, obviously going to Yellow Belt, I've done that one. I haven't done any of the other ones. Most people get a friend to call them out or they memorize them and go through them all. So that's fine too, okay? Let me go over a couple kick particulars. I know today I worked out with some guys earlier in our noon class, and I wanted to do a couple of different things with you. Let's work on our side thrust kick real quick. And Steven, I want you to make sure you get me on the camera. Sure. If we do our side thrust kick from our Nekoashi-dachi, the traditional way we're going to do this is we're going to step behind and deliver the kick, obviously straight out. A side thrust kick, remember, is a distance kick, okay? Now what I want to work on here is being able to step behind and get my hips involved with the kick. So I'm going to do it two different ways for you, okay? I'm going to do a step behind and then a heel-to-heel step up, okay? And when we're kicking for maximum power, if you can kick waist high, I think that's perfect because you want to go straight out. If you go a little higher, you might lose a little power depending on the person. Obviously, if you kick down, you're going to have good power that way. But I want you to work on kicking straight out, okay? So let's do this slow one time. So we're going to step behind, okay? Now my hips kind of cock this direction. And now what's going to happen, I'm going to drive my side kick out this way at my target, okay? Boom. And set it down. Now remember my Nekoashi-dachi again, okay? Push. I'm going to do it this way to show you again, all right? So from here, step. Notice I kind of cock my hips a hair. And now, left leg, straight out. And down. So what I'm doing, I'm hitting about waist high. I'm working on good power and a nice extension of the kick, all right? So let's go this way. Now, if I do my side thrust kick with a skip up heel-to-heel kick, a lot of the other styles do the skip up heel-to-heel kick. I know Bruce Lee, obviously Mr. Joe Louis, they did a lot of that big skipping side kicks, okay? So let's do the skip up. From here, you're going to step, you're going to pull your heel-to-heel just like so. My hips are cocked a little bit. Boom. Straight out again. Okay? Watch one more time. Step. Boom. Straight out. Okay? Now, watch this. We're going to try it again. Same thing. Heel to heel. So I've showed you two different variations of side kick in this case. Alright? We got the step behind and the skip up. Okay? So, I know Mr. Lewis used to call this a foot replacement step when you do a skip up, because basically what you're doing is replacing the front foot with the back foot and throwing the front foot into your target, all right? So let's do it again. So we're here, step, heel to heel, left leg, side kick, and down, okay? Now watch again. Step, heel to heel, left leg, side kick, and down. All right, so let me do both of them. You watch, and then when you practice this at home, this is a great way to help understand your hip movement, okay? So if I'm going this way, ready, step, kick, okay? Watch again, step, kick, right there. Okay, let's watch again. Remember, be very mindful of your stick. You don't want a side kick to slide. That's not what we're doing. We want to stick it, okay, in one spot, all right? So, step behind, kick. Step behind, kick. All right, let's do our skip up again. Make sure you got that. Remember, don't slide that kick. You want to stick in one spot. If you're shooting a rifle at a target, how many targets or how many areas does that bullet hit? One. It's the same thing with any technique you throw. They're all going to hit one spot, okay? So if we work on our side thrust kick again, let's do the heel-to-heel thing. From here, straight out, straight out. Okay, let's try it again. Straight out. Here we go. Ready? Straight out. Straight out. Now, when I kickboxed, competed, which who knows, I might do it again one day. When you do your side kick, I use that a lot to keep distance, keep people away from me. And many times, obviously in full contact kickboxing, we kick from waist up. So a lot of times I would kick belt level. And what would happen is when I hit somebody in the hip area, it pushes them back. So that way they move away from you. So that's a way to keep people away from you. Now if I could get up under their armpit, or in the rib, floating rib, or up on an armpit area, obviously I did that. But most people fight with a good elbow down in front to protect this area. But if you get a guy that kind of pulls this up, and he carries this arm out like so, you got this open target here, you can work that side kick really well up into here. Now if he stays down here, the bad thing about this is that elbow and that foot don't mix. So you want to stay off the foot off the elbow. But you can still get to the hip area. But a lot of times if I had a guy with a real good side kick coming at me, I dropped that elbow down on his foot a couple of times, it would stop him from throwing that side kick. But you just have to be mindful of that when you're sparring, okay? So let's look at that side kick again a couple times, all right? We got to step behind, and then we have to step up heel to heel, all right? A lot of the Taekwondo guys, when they kick, they step up, put that heel to heel, they rotate their hip a little further over. You can play with your hip rotation and bring it over a little more or keep it up a little more. Watch, I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you skip up heel to heel and you turn your back foot out, what's going to happen is going to rotate your hips a little more over, and you're going to get a little more of that motion, okay? Which is fine. But as a kickboxer or a fighter, you always want to be able to get back to your punching position, all right? So you might want to not turn, when you skip up, you might want to not turn this out, but just put it side by side. Now what this is going to allow you to do is kick with a good side kick here, but be able to sit down and throw your counter punches, okay? So if you're fighting, that's the kind of mentality you need to have. As a fighter, stand up, you need to always be able to punch or kick. You don't want to have your feet in a position where you can't punch or kick, okay? So if I turn my hip this way, and I throw my side kick and I set down my hip to you, you know, I can't get any punches off without rolling way back over here. But if I just step here to here, deliver the kick, boom, I can set down, throw my punches. So you have to keep that in mind when you do your step. Now as a sparrer, if you're sparring, you know, you're sparring someone, that's what you need to think about. Remember, I talked about stance, you know, many classes ago. Well, for 35 years almost, I've talked about stance. But stance, if I have you as my opponent, I want to make sure that my front foot is you're at 12 o'clock, my front foot, toes, as well as my rear toes, are pointing at 2 o'clock. My shoulder's pointing at 10 o'clock. So then when I go to spar with you here, if I go to throw my side kick, yeah, I'm going to turn a little bit, but I'm not going to turn my back to you, okay? So as a fighter, you need to be able to throw kicks and punches from a good neutral stance, all right? Does that make sense? All right, good deal. Now, so now we know what our cat stance is, Nekoashi-dachi. Worked on our side kick a little bit, worked on some of our line drill techniques, okay, moving up and down the room, making sure you're moving in your forward stance. As a martial artist, you need to be able to move forward in your forward stance, your back stance, your horse riding stance, and be able to do those basic techniques, all right? Listen, I want to thank you for coming to class tonight. We got our side kick down pat. Let me tell you, there was a time in my life when I did 500 kicks a day. And, you know, I know now I don't do 500 kicks a day. However, as a kicker, that's kind of what you need to work on. You need to be stretching 3 times a day, and you need to be doing your kicks as much as possible. I know as a busy person, you got a job, family, whatever, you might not get 500 a day. However, if you can get, let's say, 50 a day, 100 a day, it'll make a huge difference in your kicking ability, okay? Just work with the 3 basic kicks. The front kick, round kick, side kick, try to get, let's say, 50 a day. Maybe you do 10, 10, 10, and then do 20 of the kick that you had the most trouble with, okay? So let's work on those kicks and get them better, all right? Listen, if you have any questions or anything, please email me at kevinhurricanehudson@gmail.com, and I look forward to seeing you in class. Thank you very much. Oops. Have a great day.